What if one TikTok post could change your career trajectory forever? Today, we are diving into the world of Stella Lefty. I am Garrett, feeling super curious today.
And I am Leah, excited to unpack today's topic. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. All right, here's where we begin. Today, we are talking about Stella Lefty, the breakout TikTok musician and a rising voice in the country pop and indie folk lane. Picture this. Late night scroll. I'm half asleep, thumb on autopilot, and this hook jumps out. It's Boston. Her voice has that raspy edge that sounds like a diary entry with a melody. I watched the clip twice, then 3 times, then went to find the full track. That was my gateway, and honestly, that song stuck with me for days.
Let's set the scene. Stella Lefty performs as Stella Lefty. The all-caps thing is not just a mood, it's branding that pops on tiny phone screens and playlist covers. She is an American singer-songwriter born in 2002, raised in Glencoe, Illinois, just north of Chicago. She later moved to Los Angeles, though the exact timing of that move is not pinned down. The key is that her music lands in a blended zone, country pop meets indie folk, with a genre-agnostic approach. Genre-agnostic just means she does not lock herself into one category. She can fit in more than one lane at once.
Boston is the spark most people saw. It exploded on TikTok, then crossed over to the Billboard Hot 100. Quick refresher. The Hot 100 is the main U.S. chart that mixes sales, streaming, and radio. She went from a debut at number 95 to top 20 within a month, and eventually a peak at number 6. That isn't a slow burn, it's a sprint. And the way her voice cuts through that slight rasp, it gives the storytelling a lived-in feel. Raspy here just means a little gravel in the tone. It adds texture and emotion without losing clarity.
Before we dig into the big arc, a quick note on influences. She grew up on country and pop. Think Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus on the pop side, Tim McGraw and Brad Paisley on the country side. You hear that in her writing. Narrative first, big choruses, and production that can go acoustic or glossy depending on the song. That flexibility is why she fits in both folk-leaning playlists and country radio conversations.
Early life. She started songwriting young in Glencoe. That long practice runway matters later. Then 2020 rolls around and she heads to Tulane University to study public health. She said she had no plan to do music as a career at that point. Real talk. I love when a path zigs like that, because the skills she built quietly ended up front and center once the right moment hit.
While in college, she studies abroad in Amsterdam, and she hits a rough patch mentally. During that period, she starts posting early songs on TikTok. TikTok is that short-form video app where 15 to 60-second hooks travel fast. The platform acts like instant A&R, artists and repertoire, old-school label speak for finding talent and shaping releases. On TikTok, that feedback loop is the comments, the saves, and the duets. If a hook resonates, you know quickly.
She graduates in 2024 and starts releasing independently. Songs like Stay and Kiss Me show up, and then in 2025 she releases her first EP. EP means extended play, longer than a single, shorter than an album. It was called Tragic, Really. Singles like Cynic and See-Through help define the mood. Even if those did not hit charts, they laid the groundwork so that when a bigger audience showed up later, there was a catalog to explore.
Live reps arrive too. In 2025, she gets out on the road on other artists' tours, the For Your Validation Tour with Alessi Rose, who has a pop sensibility, and the Worldwide Hysteria Tour with Jessie Murph, who blends country and pop and has viral traction of her own. Those runs matter. You learn stagecraft in clubs and theaters, and you convert casual listeners who came for the headliner into people who will check out your songs later.
Now the fuse really lights in early 2026. Thinking 'Bout You lands in January. It is co-written with Grace Enger and Sadie Jean. Quick context. Grace Enger is a songwriter and artist known for sharp pop writing. Sadie Jean is a singer-songwriter who also found a lane through viral clips. That collab reaches number 50 on the U.S. Hot Country Songs chart. Hot Country Songs is a multi-metric country chart blending streaming, sales, and airplay that touches the country world. That is a signal something is connecting beyond just TikTok likes.
Then comes a film moment in February 2026. She performs The Kill for Scream 7. That's a sync, your music paired with picture like film or TV. It broadens reach fast because you find listeners who were not even looking for your song. Shortly after that, she signs with Atlantic Outpost, a country imprint inside Atlantic Records. An imprint is a specialized label team under a bigger label. It means you get country radio and Nashville-adjacent strategy while still tapping a global distribution network.
And then, Boston hits like a meteor. In April 2026, it debuts at number 95 on the Hot 100, and within weeks it's top 20, eventually peaking at number 6. Here's the twist that fascinates me. Boston uses melodic interpolation of Stick Season by Noah Kahan. Melodic interpolation means you recreate part of a melody from an existing song, but you do not copy the original recording. You re-perform it and you credit the original writer. Noah Kahan is officially credited, which is smart and fair, and it instantly makes the hook feel familiar to listeners from the indie folk crowd.
That one move bridges audiences. Country programmers hear a storytelling song with a conversational melody. Pop and indie listeners hear a DNA link to a song they already love. The production stays clean and radio ready. That dual identity is how Boston charts across formats and countries. It hits U.S. hot country songs at number 4 and country airplay at number 11. Country airplay is a radio-only chart for country stations. Different yardstick, same story. Broad appeal.
In May 2026, she drops the EP Is This Heaven via Atlantic Outpost. It bundles Boston, Thinking About You, I Know, plus a collab called Something to Lose with Vincent Mason. Quick note, Vincent Mason is a rising country-leaning artist with a soulful tone. The EP debuts at number 38 on the Billboard 200, the all-genre album chart in the US, and hits number 9 on Top Country Albums. Debut units are about 20,000, and later the project peaks at number 25 on the album chart. That is strong conversion from a viral single to a full body of work.
Beyond the US, the EP shows up in multiple territories. Australia at number 21, Canada at number 16, New Zealand at number 27. That tells me the team timed it well. Viral single, then a cohesive project, then international playlisting that carries momentum. It is the new playbook when the data is already warming up from short clips.
Boston keeps climbing around the world. Peaks include Canada at number 5, Australia at number 11, Ireland at number 8, New Zealand at number 13, the UK at number 15, and a worldwide tally around number 23. Certifications come in too, gold in Australia and silver in the UK. Those plaques arrive only after sustained streams and sales, so that is the opposite of a one-week wonder.
Follow-up singles matter for staying power. Slow Dancing releases in 2026. I Know lands on Hot Country Songs at number 34 and on Canada Country at number 58. Something to Lose with Vincent Mason cracks the US Hot 100 at number 45 and hits number 18 on Hot Country Songs and Canada Country at number 67. Good at Leaving makes a splash on the New Zealand Hot Singles chart at number 16. That web of chart points shows a real footprint, not just a spike.
On the live side in 2026, she plays dates billed as Our First Shows Together and Stella Lefty Live, then joins a run of tours with varied headliners. The Fragile Egos tour is headlined by Cameron Whitcomb, who blends grit and modern country vibes. My Mess, My Heart, My Life is Miles Smith, a UK singer-songwriter with folk pop leanings. The Brunette World Tour is Tucker Wetmore, a country artist with radio-friendly hooks. That range of pairings tells you how flexible her sound is in front of different crowds.
There is also the biographical thing that gets headlines. Her father is Eric Lefkofsky, the tech entrepreneur behind Groupon and the leader of Tempest AI and Media Ocean. It is understandable people notice. But the career arc we are walking through is pretty textbook for the modern era. Songs percolate on TikTok. Early independent releases set the tone. Data proves demand, and then a label deal follows with the right imprint. The documentary record highlights organic audience growth and recognizably strong songwriting as the center of gravity.
Can I ask why the all-caps Stella Lefty thing matters so much in practice? I feel like it is a detail you could miss, but somehow it keeps coming up.
Totally. On streaming services and TikTok, Tiny visuals matter. All caps stands out in thumbnails and playlist art. It makes the name legible in crowded feeds and boosts recognition. It's like using a bold font for your band name without saying a word. When discovery is happening at high speed, every micro cue helps a new listener remember you.
Okay, shifting into the murky zone for a second. One unanswered piece is the timing of her move to Los Angeles. We know she relocated at some point, but not exactly when. So here is the question. How much did LA itself drive the rise, and how much was TikTok already doing the heavy lifting no matter where she was living?
I'll take the LA side. If you are near top-tier writers, producers, and label teams, the cycle time on everything speeds up. Studio sessions get booked faster, song mixes get turned around quicker, and you can walk into rooms for sync conversations after something like Scream 7 momentum. When you sign with an imprint like Atlantic Outpost, being in LA puts you within a short drive of key decision makers who can pivot strategy mid-week, which matters when a track like Boston is surging.
I hear that, and here is my counter. The ignition switch was TikTok while she was abroad. That is geography neutral. The platform gave her real-time audience validation on hooks and stories. By the time the label came into the picture, she had leverage because the crowd had already voted with their ears. Even without a physical move, those same songs could have reached the same people online, because discovery now starts in your feed more than in a city.
That is fair. Let me push the why, though. Why would the city still matter if the net is doing the discovery?
Because once a song pops, you need infrastructure. You need to shoot content efficiently. You need teams to scale radio strategy. You need writers in the room who can turn a viral verse into a full record that holds up for years. Cities like LA and Nashville concentrate that infrastructure. But to me, the bigger lever here was still the virality. That gave her the ability to choose the right partners. Location then amplified what was already happening rather than creating it from scratch.
So maybe it's a two-step, platform first, city second, with the caveat that we do not know the precise date she landed in LA. Either way, the interplay is the story of the 2020s. You build proof on the phone, then you execute with a team that can close loops quickly in the real world.
And in pop culture terms, she has touch points that widen the lane. The Scream 7 performance of The Kill plugged her voice into a major film franchise, and the association with Stick Season by Noah Kahan places Boston inside a huge cultural wave. Noah Kahan is a singer and songwriter whose indie folk hit became a moment. Tapping that melody with proper credit turned a great new song into a cross-format handshake.
Here is a what if to chew on. What if she never posted those early songs on TikTok while studying in Amsterdam? No clips, no comments, no early fan base. I think we might still have an artist with talent and drive, but the arc would be slower. Maybe she releases that first EP, plays more small rooms, builds a local base. Without the instant signal from the crowd, a label probably waits longer to jump in. Boston, as we know it, could land later, or maybe not at all in that shape.
I agree. Without that first spark, the ecosystem behaves differently. And imagine the industry ripple. If Boston is not surging in spring 2026, some playlists look different and another song gets that slot on country pop crossover programming. A different indie folk leaning track fills the gap in the UK or Canada. Also, without the viral proof, the interpolation choice might not surface in the same way. Interpolations work best when there is a clear audience signal that a melody resonates. No early data, less reason to double down on that creative link.
And touring changes too. Instead of jumping onto multi-market runs with folks like Miles Smith or Tucker Wetmore, she might have stayed on hyperlocal routes for a while. Nothing wrong with that. It just means the international chart footprint in 2026 likely does not happen. Maybe Australia and the UK come a year later, or not at all with that perfect song at the perfect time.
It also reframes the personal side. She began sharing songs during a tough stretch abroad. Turning vulnerability into community is powerful. Those comments act like real-time support and real-time A&R. Remove that, and the creative confidence to release a project like Is This Heaven in sync with Boston might not bloom the same way. Timing really is everything here.
Before we land this, I want to underline something simple. Genre agnostic does not mean blurry. It means clear songs that travel. Boston sits on hot country songs at number 4 and the Hot 100 at number 6. That's not confusion. That's strategy. You aim the storytelling and the hook so both country and pop audiences can claim it.
And the voice matters the whole way. That raspy texture, the diary-style detail, the way the melodies rise in a conversational way, it is the glue. Whether it is an intimate verse or a chorus built to belt in a car, that tone keeps everything honest. Thanks for tuning in. Keep exploring and stay curious.
Catch you next time on Laid Back Learning.